WVTC Radio Detroit. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, our website, www.wvtcradio.com, or download our WVTC app from the Play Store for Android users and the App Store for iPhone users. Thank you for tuning to WVTC Radio Detroit and the Community Bell Show with your host, former Wayne County Commissioner, Edna Bell. Stay tuned for insightful information Detroiters will find valuable. Text a friend and tell them to watch with you for news you can use. And now, your host, Edna Bell.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. We are so glad to have you with us this wonderful, sunny, warm Monday afternoon. If it's Monday at 4 o'clock, it must be the Community Bell Show. Welcome to everyone again. We're so glad to have you with us. We have special guests. Remember, fourth Monday is Sheriff Washington Monday. And so he's here with us along with one of his recruiters, Mark Diaz. And they're going to talk about some of the things that go on in the Sheriff's Department. So for the next few months, on the fourth Monday, you're going to hear from the Sheriff's Department. And you're going to hear all the things that they do that you never knew the Sheriff's Department did and how big Wayne County really is. Welcome, Sheriff. How are you this afternoon?
Thank you, Madam Bell. I'm doing very well. Thank you so much, and thank you for having me. I count it an honor as well as a privilege to be able to sit here and talk to you for a little while today.
We're so glad to have you with us. And you have with us one of your wonderful recruiters, and he is Mr.
Yeah,
Mark
yes,
Diaz.
Mr. Mark Diaz is one of my top-notch recruiters, and I wanted him to come on with me and talk to you all about some things we're doing in the Wayne County Sheriff's Office as it relates to recruiting. And he's very good at that. Came on a little while under Sheriff Napoleon to do some other things in our jails, and I wanted him to switch over and start to do some recruiting for us, and he's been doing that and doing a wonderful job. So he's on to talk about that as well.
Thank you so much. Well, first thing, before we talk about recruiting, talk to us about the different places people work in the jail that you need people for.
So that's a good point. We have people that work in our jails that do a variety of things. And one that comes to mind, particularly in our jails, is those who work in our tether unit, and those who work in our classification unit. And as we go on further over the next few months, so as long as you'll have me, I'll be bringing those on as well, because people need to know that when people have the misfortune to have to be in our facility, we have to classify them and make sure that we're putting them with the right people as it relates to the crime that they have been accused of committing. And I say accused of because for the most part, those that are in our facility, they haven't been convicted of anything yet. They've been charged and accused of a crime, but in the greatest country in the world, regardless of what some may think, you're still innocent until you've been proven guilty. And that's not in every country. And so, those that are in our county jails, for the most part, they haven't been convicted of anything. So we have to make sure that we classify them correctly to make sure that those that may have been accused of same-like crimes, or so to speak, that they're housed together. So they're not housed with someone that's in for something, say probably, for instance, a breaking and entering or something in a home, that they're not in with someone locked in or housed with someone who may be accused of an assaultive behavior, or even an aggressive assaultive behavior that turns into even something that did great bodily harm, or even accused of killing someone. So we have to classify those people right, and we do it very strategically and through a whole system, a method that it takes for us to be able to do that. And I'm going to bring some of those on with who can give you the real nuts and bolts of it. See, it's my job, Ms. Bell, to know every little bit of everything. I'm not the expert in everything, and I don't mind saying that.
So you just you manage it all.
I manage it all.
There you go.
As I like to say, I don't have to know all the ingredients of the cake, but I know what it's supposed to taste like. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's how I manage, and so I'll bring those people in who will talk about some of that, as well as our tether unit. Very important, because of the pandemic. We had to really pivot and figure out how we keep all of us safe, including those that had the misfortune of being in our facility. So the chief judge got together with the prosecutor of Wayne County, Kim Worthy, Chief Judge Kenny, and we were able to present some people to them who were in our custody, who might be eligible to go on tether, who may not have been before the pandemic, and put them out on tether and monitor them so that we could kind of release those and help ourselves with people who may have been contracting or who could have been contracted the virus. And so we identified some people who may have been eligible, and they make the decision on who actually they're going to put on tether. And we put quite a few people out.
That's going to be quite a conversation and information when you talk about how people are determined whether they are on tether or not.
Yes.
I'm sure people really want to know that.
Yes, and I don't mind telling them. We at the County Sheriff's Office, we're in the business of monitoring those who the judge put on tether.
I noticed you said that's not your call.
We don't put the people on tether. We monitor them. And so
That's good information.
yes,
Because people will go around and say, well, why did the sheriff put those people on the tether?
Absolutely.
And the sheriff didn't do it.
Absolutely. Now, again, we present some people sometime. And I was only during the pandemic. They had asked us, well, who do you have that you think might be that we could look at and determine if they're going to go on tether? But for the most part, even when they get into the court system and they become arraigned and they have to decide at that point, are they going on tether? Are they paying a bond? Are they going on, what's going to be their fate while they wait to be to have their day in court? The judge and the prosecutor, not even the prosecutor, the judge makes those kind of determinations on how that's going to work.
Good information.
Yes.
Good information.
Yes. So those are just a couple of things. We have mental health programs in our jails. We have, which is a very interesting component of our jails, our commissary portion, where we have to decide nutritionally how we feed those that are in our custody, how we take care of their laundry situations, how we provide them access to their relatives and friends who they need to have contact with in the world, as they call it, or outside of the bars. Because again, we have to treat people the right way, because again, the most of them have not been convicted and of anything and not assigned permanently or not even 6 months to a year to our jails. Some of them have, and we do house some people, a small number of people in our county jails for 6 months, but no longer than a year. If it's anything longer than that, then they have to go to a state prison after they've been convicted. But
people don't even know that. They don't know that there's a difference between jail and prison.
There is a difference. The average stay in our jails, believe it or not, it's about 7 to 10 days, and it rotates that much. And again, unless they're there for some kind of assaultive or some kind of accused murder or something to that effect, a lot of them get the opportunity to have to be assigned a bail, a bond, so they could pay bail and pay their bond and get out and wait their time wait outside of our facility until it's time for them to have their day in court. So yeah, we don't house like that. It's just a big turnover that we manage.
Wonderful. So Mark, you have a lot of places to recruit for then, huh?
Oh, yeah. I got to tell you, and listening to the sheriff, every time Sheriff Washington speaks about the kind of work we do here at the Wayne County Sheriff's Office, the passion in his voice, and when he speaks about not only taking care of the department as a whole, but also ensuring those who we come across are treated fairly and given and treated with great respect. That's something that's incredibly admirable. And I got to tell you, with respect to the recruiting aspect of it, I think one of the reasons the sheriff, and I don't know this, but I think one of the reasons the sheriff may have invited me over to help with our recruiting efforts is because the passion I personally have with respect to serving in a law enforcement capacity, especially serving under his guidance and tutelage with regards to what we're trying to do and the caliber of people we're attempting to recruit to come in with that same mindset, that same ideal where we want to preserve everyone's rights. We want to ensure people are safe and that the community as a whole is safe as well. So when we talk about the recruiting efforts here, I'm passionate about it. I'm incredibly passionate about it. My career in law enforcement has been wonderful over 27 years, and transitioning into the Wayne County Sheriff's Office as I did has been just a great experience. This has just been the icing on my personal law enforcement career. And so to be able to share that and to bring that opportunity to so many people, we have positions that are available right now. And it's kind of it's bittersweet. It's a double-edged sword when we talk about, well, we have 200 positions that are available. And on one hand, I'm sitting here going, wow, that's 200 positions. Geez, that's going to be hard to fill. But on the other side of that, those are 200 opportunities for so many people who want to do good in this community and do good in the world, for them to join us, to come on board and be a part of something great.
That is true.
What's required of someone who wants to be a sheriff in Wayne County?
Well, right now the requirements they're not very steep. It's they have to have a high school diploma or a GED equivalent, be 18 years of age, and no felony convictions on their record. A relatively decent driving record. There are people who have speeding tickets who've come across our recruiting table, if you will. Those people make mistakes. We know that. But on that same note, we have a very stringent, if you will, background investigation group that they take a look at a person and make sure they're qualified and that they can be a solid representative of the sheriff's office.
Are there any psychological tests the recruits go through?
There are. Initially, there's a personality test where we're checking it. It's geared towards ensuring a person is, number one, confident in their decisions. But one of the things we also have to keep in mind as adults, whether it's in law enforcement or any capacity we serve in, we have to be mindful that we are all human beings. People do make mistakes, and it's very important that we're able to recover from those mistakes and be able to learn from those mistakes. And those are some of the variables that are looked for in the psychological testing.
Okay. Compared to other police departments and even other sheriff's departments, and I'm probably biased because I'm a Wayne County person, I'm a strong Wayne County supporter. But I don't find there are as many people who are found to be negligent or don't respect the citizens. I mean, Wayne County does not have that kind of issue. How are you able to get the kind of people you get that respect people, that don't attack them and do all the things that we hear from many other police departments?
So you want me to jump on that, Mark?
Yes.
So here's how I think that works. First of all, I think it's very important, and I'm talking about Wayne County as well as some individual police departments, because I've worked in the Detroit Police Department for 25 years. And so I think it's important that you hire and you try to bring in people who are reflective of the citizens that they have to serve, who's going to be policing those who understand that the culture as much as they can, or who's willing to learn it as much as they can. I think we do ourselves a great disservice when we bring people in from somewhere where they've never really dealt with a population that's 80% American, and then you come in for the first time, and it's okay, but you have to be very willing to learn the culture of what you're going to be, of who you're going to be policing. And I think that's for a lot of reasons, as reasons that we've seen. I'm proud to say that Wayne County, in the sheriff's office, we look like Wayne County. My administrative staff looks like Wayne County. Wayne County is has a very diverse population. And I think I thought it was very important that when I come in here as a sheriff, that I don't just load it up with African Americans in a leadership position or so, because that's who I am. Well, that is who I am, but Wayne County is not. That's not Wayne County. Wayne County is full of Middle Eastern population, or white population, African American population, all kinds of ethnicities and people that belong to various cultures even. And I think it's important that we try to bring people in who look like Wayne County. And when we don't, again, I think we do ourselves a disservice. And so I think we haven't had those issues where some of the other communities or some of the other states may have had, where none of those officers are really have any buy-in with the city and the citizens that they serve. I was so sad to hear in Minnesota, the second incident that they had, where something happened and went wrong. I think it was the one where the female officer shot the young man that didn't she thought she had a taser on her hand. And it was, and however that played out, what I was really disturbed to hear was that none of those officers lived in the city that they police in every day. I thought that was just amazing.
It makes a difference.
It was amazing, because the 40-something of officers, or however many they had, 30-something officers, you come in, you
know the population they're working with.
You have to know them. You have to know them, because let me tell you, Ms. Bell, when I was in the Detroit Police Department and we had residency, which I thought was really important.
Absolutely.
In the city that we served in, I had no problem with residency. You know why? Because it kept me in check with how I had to police people, especially young people. I was going to see their mother at church. I was going to run into them at the grocery store. I was going to be pumping gas with the same young man I had to arrest probably the next day, or the day before, I should say. I'm going to run into these people, and I ran into them all the time.
Absolutely.
And I never had a problem with them, because the first thing they would say is, "Officer, I don't have no problem with you because you treated me the right way." And if I just was coming in from someplace and was going to do my 8 hours and police these people and run back out somewhere where I didn't have to see them again till tomorrow, who knows? I know me as a person. I think I would have done it the right way, but I love what residency and the checks and balances that it made you have. I love what it did. And when we lost that, I think we lost a lot of what we know as policing the right way, how it had to make us police the right way. And I think we kind of lost some of that when we lost that.
You're right. And I question, is it legal, or can we, or do we give extra points if someone is a resident of Wayne County?
Well, I think
in terms of hiring,
we're hiring from any county. We're hiring from any county because we need people.
We need people that bad, huh, Mark?
If you can get the roll call on time, I'm gonna hire you. But the thing is, I think it comes with training, not necessarily just that has to be the only thing that you should live here. You have to be willing to learn if you're not, again, that abreast of the culture that you're getting ready to police. You have to, the police departments have to be responsible for making sure that all of us are trained the right way. And when we see that it's going astray, and we know the ones as leaders that probably are going astray, or they're having a lot of citizen complaints, or we got to get them trained some more, or we're going to have to release them. I was so disturbed to hear just a few days ago, there was a Detroit police officer that had about 85 citizen complaints, and
still on the job.
And still on the job, no disciplinary. I didn't hear anybody talk about they sent them back for extra training. They've been working with them. All I heard was the complaints were not sustained, and they're too much time lapsed. And I don't know. When we don't address those issues as leaders, we get what we see around the country.
Absolutely.
And it's too bad. I'm just the kind of police officer that I don't hide behind no blue curtain or no blue line. Look, when it's wrong, it's wrong. And when it's right, we need to say it's right as well. But you can't hide behind the things that we do that maybe we've gotten it wrong. We have to address those things as leaders and deal with them the best way we know how, whatever that comes to, instead of just ignoring it.
Absolutely. That's why I'm so proud of Wayne County, because we don't hear those kinds of complaints in the Wayne County Sheriff's Department that we hear around the country and other places. Mark, you were going to say something?
Yeah, I was going to say that I'll add to that, with the piggybacking on the sheriff's words here. A lot of it comes down to leadership by example. And as I said earlier, I can sing the accolades and praises of Sheriff Washington all day long, but one of the things he makes very sure of is that he does, in fact, lead by example, that's just one of the wonderful attributes that he brings to the Wayne County Sheriff's Office. But, you can hear in his words, that, as he just said a moment ago, that, when there's a situation identified where there may be a potential problem, not to say that there is, only to say that there may be, it's something that the sheriff is diligent in looking into and ensuring, as he was pointing out, training and making sure we're getting all of our officers on the right path. There are those situations that, and we've heard so many situations, and especially as of late, about poor training. Or why did that officer do that? He should have known better.
Exactly.
Training is the first thing that should be looked at in ensuring our officers are representing our citizens and our departments the way they're supposed to. So again, it comes back to the leadership by example.
That's true.
Absolutely. Mark, tell us about a few of the jobs that you're recruiting for now and what the responsibilities are, what the pay is, what they need to do, and those kinds of things.
So the positions we're opening up right now it's the position to come on as a sheriff's deputy. That essentially is the sheriff's deputy will come on, or they'll come on as a sheriff's deputy as a recruit and attend our jailer training, which will initially start with the correction side. Per their union contracts, they will work within that capacity, just like most other sheriff's offices are set up. Well, they'll work in the capacity as a correction side, if you will, of the sheriff's office. The really cool thing, which has been a great motivator for a lot of our recruits I've spoken with and brought in recently, is the fact that we're getting ready to open up a new jail next year. That's a state-of-the-art facility that's ahead of its time. In all honesty, it's going to be the flagship of jails within the United States. And speaking with other applicants, if you will, that are coming over to the sheriff's office, they're looking forward to that. A lot of the jails throughout the nation are antiquated, and I don't mean to speak ill of any other facility, and that Wayne County has been blessed with the opportunity and the means in which to provide our citizens a state-of-the-art facility. But that's something.
Okay. They are old and ugly. Downtown facility is old and ugly.
Well,
I remember it when I was a county commissioner.
Let's be honest, jail is jail, but there's something to be said about a jail that's a state-of-the-art facility that not only provides for just a better means in which to monitor our population, but also a better work environment for our employees, and a better environment for those who are being temporarily housed here. So that in and of itself is a major benefit, and it's a major attraction to come over to the Wayne County Sheriff's Office for those who are even working in another sheriff's office in that capacity. But beyond that, they will be given an opportunity to go into our road patrol units, to go into working in our Marine Division, working on, as the sheriff pointed out, our tether unit, and working in conjunction with other law enforcement agencies. So, and I'm not trying to say anything negative about those, other than a lot of the deputies I've spoken to have actually passed up the opportunity just because the working in the jails is something that they find is a very rewarding career for them. Everyone has and that's the beauty of the Wayne County Sheriff's Office, is there are so many different facets in which you can work in the law enforcement career and profession. And it's all right here in one place. You're not restricted to one small municipality by boundaries that are maybe a couple miles wide. Rather, you have the entire county in which to be a professional law enforcement officer. So
644 square miles is what it is.
That's big.
With 43 cities or townships, you're absolutely correct.
Right.
That's huge. That's huge.
So again, there's so many opportunities within the sheriff's office, and again, I love to refer to them as opportunities, because that's exactly what they are. We have so many kids who are coming out of high school, just graduating for that matter, those who are paying their way to go through college right now because they want to go into the law enforcement profession. Mm-hmm. And with the sheriff's office, after they go through our jailer training, after they become a sheriff's deputy and they work in this capacity for a time, they are actually afforded the opportunity to go in to get certified with the state as a police officer. And here's the beauty of that. Wayne County actually puts them through that training. They're actually getting a salary while they're getting trained, where other people are paying for this, the schooling and the education, the academy to become a certified law enforcement officer. Wayne County is providing them with that.
Right.
That's incredible. That is absolutely incredible. Yeah. So the first place they would go is to be a jailer. Is that when they're hired, they first go to be a jailer. Is that correct?
They get certified to to work in the correction side. That's correct. So that's an additional certification that they get here with the sheriff's office that other law enforcement agencies don't offer.
Okay. And so once they get into that position, how much do they make? I guess that's what people are going to want to know. What's the salary?
So the starting pay currently is at $35,687, which I say currently because they're in the midst of, they're wrapping up contract negotiations with the collective bargaining unit that represents the sheriff's deputies. And I will say that Sheriff Washington from day one has been a major advocate to get that pay up. To get it to be more, a heck of a lot more than what it is right now, and it's an anomaly, if you will, in the world of management, where management is beating on the table, pounding on the doors, and insisting that wage is increased on behalf of the deputies.
And that's important. That's important. We have to be able to be competitive. Law enforcement is on the low end of staffing all over the nation. I mean, all over the nation. You talk to any police department and you ask them, what is their main issue right now? And they'll tell you staffing. They all will tell you staffing. Because I don't know if it's because of things that we've seen us get wrong in law enforcement over the last maybe 5 years or so. I don't know why people, especially young people, are not running to these jobs at 18 and 19 years old. And 20 years old, making $35,000, $40,000 coming in the door, and with an opportunity to make much more than that as well, with some overtime that they'll be able to get. I don't know how you don't jump on those kind of things. Law enforcement is still it's a noble profession. And
absolutely,
it's still something that everybody wants to know that they have law enforcement on their side and in their community. I don't ever want to live anywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah. You don't have law enforcement there. That's not for me.
That's not the right place to be.
So we work hard at trying to get our young people to realize and understand that if they want to see change, they have to be that change, and come on and get involved in what it is that we're doing in law enforcement. Even if you come in and see how you like it, and you may find, especially in the sheriff's office, maybe everybody don't want to be out there fighting crime in the street. Maybe you want to be on the custody side of law enforcement. And if you want to be on the custody side and still be the police, we have those jobs for you, and we still have some things even outside that you can do in our Marine unit. We have mounted units. We have patrol units that's out on our secondary road positions. We have narcotic units. We have weights and measures where you can go out and get the overloaded trucks and put them in order, who's tearing up our streets. And so there's a lot of things.
I want you to go back a minute because you're going fast. I want you to go back to custody.
Yes.
What does the custody unit mean? What do you mean when you say that?
It means that you're going to be in the jails, making sure that we're protecting and serving those who have the misfortune of being locked up in our county jail on the custody side, and even in our tether side as well. You're going to be in positions where you can monitor them, those that are out still in our custody, but we're monitoring them from a distance through our apparatuses and computers that we have that will allow us to know if there's someplace in the unrestricted or restricted area where they should not be, and if they're out longer than they should be. Monitor those monitoring systems alert us, and we go ask them, why are they out? We go
find them. Why are you here?
The problem, exactly. And so, and oftentimes it's because they just let their battery run dead for whatever reason. They weren't paying attention. If the battery is getting low, it alerts us that something's going on. So you might want to be on the custody side of law enforcement versus out there answering calls to service and dealing with the day-to-day that you have to do to protect and serve in the street. So
now, what's the difference between what the Wayne County Sheriff's policing powers are and, let's say, the police officers in Livonia?
So the difference is, so we have 43 cities in Wayne County, and it's so different in our county versus Macomb, Oakland, Washington, all these other counties around us, who do half of their agency is probably involved in answering calls to service, like Livonia Police Department or the Detroit Police Department or any other police department. They're out answering 911 calls and going to those homes or going to those businesses and finding out what it is that they need to do to resolve whatever it is that they were called there to do, whatever the call was. Well, in Wayne County Sheriff's Office, we are not those officers. We are not those first responders that answer calls to service. We're still first responders because there are things that we need to do when we assist other agencies with things that they may need us to do. But for the most part, all of the part, I should say, each city has their own police department. So the difference in us and say Livonia is that Livonia is getting 911 calls and they're going to those homes or businesses in Livonia and they're seeing about whatever the need is. We as the Wayne County Sheriff's Office, we don't answer 911 calls. We found a way to address the community, and we can talk about that as well if you like. But we found a way to do that, but we don't answer 911 calls, and so that's probably the biggest difference.
Okay, great. Mark, do you recruit for, let's say, the Marine Department also, or do you just recruit for incoming sheriffs?
We're recruiting right now for the people coming in to be a sheriff's deputy, and as I said earlier, they have to initially work in our corrections department for the first 6 months at least. And then after that, they'll be given the opportunity to get MCOL certified, which is MCOL, which going back a little bit to what we were discussing earlier with respect to the difference between let's say Livonia, as you mentioned, or any other municipality for that matter. What's the difference between our officers and theirs? With respect to authority to enforce the law, our officers who are on the road patrol or working in an enforcement capacity, they are MCOL certified. And that's the Michigan Commission on Law Enforcement Standards, which is a state certification. It's a requirement of anyone enforcing the law in the state of Michigan. So there's that similarity is there, except that the boundaries, if you will, for our deputies here in Wayne County, it encompasses the entire county as opposed to just a small municipality. But with regards to what we're hiring for, we're hiring people to come in on the correction side, those who wish to at some point attain their MCOL certification to go on the road patrol, go to our mounted division, our Marine division, or any of our other enforcement entities. Will provide them that opportunity to become MCOL certified. And the county will not just provide them the opportunity, but carry them on the payroll. They'll collect a salary while that education they're receiving to attain that certification is paid for as well.
Wonderful. Now, the officers we see in the Wayne County courts, those officers were initially in the jail and then they got promoted or transferred to be in the courts. Is that how that works?
That's
correct. Yeah.
Okay. How are you recruiting? What are you doing to get these people? I mean, are you out on the streets saying, hey, we need you? Are you at community meetings or your churches? Or where are you and what are you doing to recruit those people?
We're all over the place. And so we have community events. We have one community event coming up this coming Saturday on the 31st. It's going to be at Cullen Plaza from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Cullen Plaza, for those who aren't familiar with where that is, it's down on Atwater, right by Shane Park. In fact, the address is 1340 Atwater Street. So I've engaged the schools. We've partnered up with Sur Metro Detroit. I have an event that's coming up in August next month with the Oakland County Community College and their academy. Have another event scheduled for September 8th, which is going to be in Inkster at the Inkster Service Center, where we're getting the word out. The sheriff has 3 recruiters whose our full-time position is to get that word out. And again, it comes back to that I'm going to say it again, the opportunity. Letting people know that this is an opportunity that they have, a career that they may have always dreamt about it. They may have watched a movie and so, wow, that looks like a great career, but they don't know how to go about getting into it. Our jobs as recruiters is to bring about that opportunity, make them aware of how really easy it is with respect to getting started in the recruiting process. And simply stated, all they have to do is go to sheriffconnect.com and simply click on the careers tab, and then they can download the application and send it directly to me, and we'll get it processed immediately and get that ball rolling for them.
Say that again. It's sheriffconnect.com.
Yes.
SHERIFF Connect, CONNECT, all one word, .com.
Great.
And Ms. Bell, we have some new. I'm so proud of this. I just have to show it to you. We have flyers out now with the young man's picture on there. And it talks about everything that we're doing in the sheriff's agency and all the things that you asked about.
Oh, that's wonderful.
We're passing all these things out. We're putting them all over town because we want people to know that that as we're in the position now of even buying, purchasing everything that we need to present ourselves as a Wayne County Sheriff's Office recruitment team. So when you come out, you'll see us, you'll know that it's us, and we're passing out, like I said, these pamphlets all over the county and even outside of the county, because again, you don't have to live in Wayne County. You can live in any county and come work for the Wayne County Sheriff.
Oh, that is wonderful. Is there an age limit or a weight restriction? That's a question from one of our viewers.
No, there is not a weight limit. There is not an age restriction. If you can pass the agility test that all agencies in Michigan have to give, you can pass the agility test, and you're fit enough to. And I don't want to scare anybody off saying fit enough, because it's not that difficult of a physical agility test that you can't get through it. Miss Bell, you can get through it. I know.
Okay.
You're in good shape. I've seen you all the time. So it's nothing that you have to be afraid of. Those that are interested or intimidated, I should say, by.
So 18 is the minimum. 18. You must be 18 first of all. Have a GED or a high school diploma.
Yes.
Have not had any felonies.
Right.
No convictions. No convictions. Pretty good driving record.
And we'll work with that, because sometimes our young people, they get out and they start driving and get a lot of tickets, but then they mature and understand that their driving is a privilege. It's not a right. And they get themselves together. And if they had a driving record 10 years ago that was kind of bad, and over the last 8 years or 5 years, it's been good, and we take it. We're going to bring you in.
Okay, great. 18 years of age, high school diploma or GED, be of good character, love where you live, like people. Yes. We can work with it.
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm gonna put you on our recruiting team. You did that well.
You're on board.
You know why? Because I ask everybody to recruit. My team knows I ask every officer in our union leadership and everyone in our agency to be recruiters. Because look, I had Emma, those who are in our custody had the misfortune, and they will tell me my nephew needs to be looking for a job. My cousin needs a job. We will hire them. I don't care that you ended up in our facility and you're giving me somebody who may be a good person. I'm taking that information and looking them up. Absolutely.
Okay, that's a great thing.
Yes.
Gentlemen, thank you so much. This time went too fast.
The time is
my goodness,
it just goes fast.
This was great. Yeah. Thank you so much, Mark. A pleasure to meet you. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Recruiter. I'm going to be out there talking about the Sheriff's Department, and go join the Sheriff's Department also. Sheriff, thank you so much as always. We appreciate you.
Love you.
This has been great. Yeah. We'll see what you bring us next time. This is great information. I don't want to stop. However, my producer is telling me it's time to go.
I got some more good information for you next time, for sure.
Okay, I love it. We'll see you next month. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll see you next Monday. We're going to talk about elections and Proposal P next Monday, everybody. So, be ready with your questions. We'll have somebody to talk about Proposal P. Love you, everybody. Have a great week. Thank you again, Sheriff. Thank you, Mark. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
We'll see you next Monday on the Community Bell Show. Have a great week.
Thank you. Have a good.
Thank you for listening to Community Bell with your host, former Wayne County Commissioner Edna Bell. This broadcast was brought to you by WVTC Radio Detroit. You can find us on Facebook, YouTube, our website, www.wvtcradio.com, or download our WVTC app from the Play Store for Android users and the App Store for iPhone users. If you've enjoyed this broadcast, tell a friend to tune in. We'll see you next Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern to the Community Bell Show, right here on WVTC Radio Detroit. You're listening to WVTC Gospel Radio Detroit,